this on? Yeah. Okay.
Streaming. You are live.
Welcome to Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max, brought to you from Hamilton Radio in beautiful downtown Robbinsville, New Jersey.
Don't you want to wait to see if we're broadcasting before you?
I
What's with
could
your
care
eyes?
less.
What's with your eyes?
What's with my
Are
eyes?
these X-ray glasses?
Yes, I'm Tom Mongelli, and this is Doug Max.
Hello.
And you've... What?
And this is the lovely and talented and funny Sandy Ehlers.
Yes, indeed.
He's annoying me already.
And this is the lovely and talented Jack Hoffman.
Of J. Irwin Productions.
Right here in Tornado Central, New Jersey.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my, what a whirlwind of a night we've had.
I was in West New York, and they said, why don't you drive into a tornado and do our radio show? And because I have a death wish, I said, why not? It's only Tuesday.
You've done enough for everyone. This is a good place to end your, right?
This is, yeah.
This is.
Hey, you can't live forever.
Listen, if I'm going down, I'm going down.
Hey, it's our lucky day. My mic is very loud. Or am I just wearing my headset? Nobody else is.
Well, not only people are liking it, but I can't find it yet.
Oh, there you go. That's so Doug.
So anyway, while Doug's tinkering, I just want to mention that Thursday, the day after tomorrow, is that Thursday?
Here we are.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be Doug's birthday. And Doug is finally turning 21.
21.
And I brought a birthday gift in for Doug. I made a happy birthday Doug bag.
Oh,
And you can open and see what's in it.
oh, thank you.
Now, mind you, on my birthday in October, Doug got me a rock.
It's okay.
Nice.
It looks like you gave him an old bag.
There it is, the rock.
Is
So-
this the same rock?
No, it's
This
not
is
the
a
same
different-
rock.
This is
What do you
nice.
think? He re-gifts?
There's
No.
a Happy Meal and a condom
What
in that
can you
bag.
tell me about this? Is igneous, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom,
And I got you other things.
pure honey.
I got you honey because
Some
the
sweet-
honeybees are becoming extinct, and that's going to be a collector's item.
Ooh, okay, I'll save that.
And I got you a lottery ticket.
a casino. Oh, really? What do I do? What
Do
I
it
scrape
later.
Off? Don't I have to scrape off something?
Yeah, you need a coin, though.
Can I use a key?
We're on the air. You don't have to do that now.
But if I win money, I'm going to be off the air.
I'm gonna fling
This is
this,
gonna-
rock
Sandy
at
will
his
take my
head.
place.
This is what's gonna happen today. It's happening.
What do
So
I scrape?
Sandy Ehlers is a comic. She's a
Thank
very
you,
funny
thank you.
comic.
For noticing.
And
I am.
she's been in the business for over 10 years, right?
15. I'm going into my
15
16th
years.
year.
Those are
Wow.
both over 10 years.
Okay.
She is a pro's pro.
Yep.
She has headlined for me a couple times already.
Uh-huh.
And she delivers. It is funny. She's funny as hell.
Thank you, Jack.
She's like,
She brings pizza.
She brings pizza, she brings the funny, and she brings lots of people in the audience.
Yeah,
I've
do.
never.
I don't mean to bring, but I have a following. So I'm like,
You don't
I
have to
don't mean
apologize for people
No, it's
liking you.
my friends are very supportive. They just
It
love.
makes me feel bad.
It's
but
true. I've
that's
never
okay.
seen you do a show where you didn't have a whole gaggle
know
of
what?
people.
All my girlfriends that I grew up with, their kids are all grown now. They have the empty nest, right? They got nothing to do at night.
Uh-huh.
They hate their husbands, right? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Let's go to a comedy show. So
Uh-huh.
they come to my comedy shows. They bring their husbands. The husbands even get sex that night. If they all come to see me,
At the show.
everybody's all happy.
That's if they finish up before the wife gets home.
It doesn't matter. They love it. They love it. They do it for jewelry, the girls. They love it. But you know what? It's a fun night because, like I said, I'm like their entertainment. It's almost like I became a comedian.
You're like
It's
their
entertainment.
entertainment. You are their entertainment.
I am.
And you're a party. You're a walking party. Anywhere you go, it's a
Thank
fun
you.
time.
I wear that badge very proudly.
That
I'm
happens
not
to be
gonna
true.
let
I mean, we've had dinner a couple times at the Friars Club, and it's a fun dinner all the time.
We have
Definitely.
fun. We have fun. You know, we like to laugh every day, right? Comedians.
Was that the
Oh,
tornado?
Sense of humor. There's the tornado. Yep.
Okay, so before we get any further in the show, I think we should formally say Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max is sponsored by
J.
J. Irwin Productions. If you want a comedy show for a fundraiser, just for fun, if you want a private comedian to come and perform in your bathroom, Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions is your guy. He's right here. write to Jack at jirwinproductions.com
You got it.
for all your comedy needs.
Very good. I got to tell you, we had a fundraiser, a fundraiser this weekend. Actually, it wasn't even a fundraiser. I had Rich Carucci, a pro from Bergen County. He entertained the veterans at the New Jersey Veterans Home in Paramus on Sunday morning on Memorial Day weekend. And it was just a very special event. It really was.
He's another
Good thing.
walking party.
He definitely is, yep. And he's also been doing it 15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Long
He's a
time.
Pros.
Well, he started out as a child actor. You know that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was in what was it, Chef Boyardee commercials?
Ah,
He
Yeah.
was?
Yeah, as a kid.
That little
It-
shit.
We put it on our Funny Talk Facebook page
Get
when he was a
out.
guest. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, I'd like to also send out a birthday wishes to one of our loyal listeners, Marvin. Happy birthday, Dr. Marvin. Many happy returns.
Happy birthday, Dr. Marvin.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, thank you.
wow, Marilyn Monroe lives.
Uh
Yep, in the body of Toady Fields.
huh. Remember her?
Yes, I do.
So tell us about this brassy, sassy, and gassy.
Well, you know, comedians, what we try to do sometimes, we work on these one-person shows, one-woman show in my case. And Brassy, Sassy, Gassy is kind of the story of me, you know, and what I'm going to do is morph it into my comedy act to see where the jokes come from, because I'm about being real, you know, always, for my comedy, when you speak, it should be something that's real to life, you know. So I try to make it as personal as possible, but there's probably going to be some stories about my mom out there and my dad. I lost my dad when I was young, so there's a bit about that. And then my godfather, who wasn't a relative, he was just this guy that worked with my aunt in Standard Brands, the coffee company in Hoboken. And he looked like Phil Silvers,
Eh,
and Ann Jean looked like Jackie Gleason.
oh, jeez.
And they were hoping that he'd marry Ann Jean, but guess what? He didn't. He was gay and a psychic, and Ann Jean looked like Jackie Gleason.
Wait, he was gay and a psychic?
He was gay and a psychic.
So he was a happy medium.
So yes, he was. And
He saw that coming.
in 1960, that was very radical.
Uh-huh.
To have this gay psychic godfather, who was very religious, by the way.
That's
Never
a great
took
reality
money.
show, Gay Psychic.
So he's in
Godfather.
it, you know, because that's the spiritual side of me, you know. And he, you know, I'm telling you, at one point the Hoboken police used him to solve crimes because he wasn't one of these like John Edwards. Oh, I see a tree, somebody's in the service, there's a dog. Everybody has that. Everybody has an Aunt Mary.
Uh-huh.
But my godfather, if he was on the phone with somebody, he was like a medical intuitive. Like he would tell you he would know if someone had like a mark behind their head or a spot on their knee. So I thought he was very good. He could never read for me though. I'd say, Mario, when am I getting married? When am I getting married?
See-
And he'd say, I can't read for you because I don't know if it's what God's given me or what I want for you in my heart. So I wish he would have told me I would be an old maid, but hey, he didn't tell me.
See, now, I always poo-pooed it, but when I was in college, I used to be able to sit with somebody, hold their hand, and within a matter of, you know, several minutes, tell them things about themselves that only they would know.
Yep.
And it was like chilling. You would get like goosebumps, and because I would get like so dead on after a while. And
You have the gift.
the people would have like this, they would look like a ghost. They just saw a ghost.
So how
I-
did you do it?
I
You researched
it wasn't
them online
no
beforehand?
no there was no online at the time. It's
So,
1981.
Tom, what number am I thinking of?
I don't do it that
My
way.
mother used to say to Mario, she's like, he's not a psychic. If he was, he'd give me a number. and we'd hit it for the family because that was really But we used to do the Ouija board. The only thing I ever got out of him was my dog Princess was constantly begging to be in another home because my house was miserable for Princess. You know,
Really?
yeah, because my mother was in a fight and the dog could get flung down the
Now,
steps.
Princess was your godfather?
The Princess was my dog. Well, see, now is that nice? Very funny. No, so he's in he's in there.
Okay.
And then this about, the morphing into being a comedian and stuff. So I might channel my mother in it. I might come out as her. We'll see. I look like her. I act like her. I'm crazy. So, but I'm working right now to try to get the outline and everything going. And it's a long, tedious process because when I talk to my friends in comedy, when you have to talk about something and if it's the least bit painful, it's like moving a boulder out of a cave. So I've been stuck like a little bit, because I want it to be a happy show, but there's some stuff I got to get out of there. Now, granted, I wasn't
a great
raped
place
by
to
an
kick
uncle.
off.
I don't have anything bad that happened, except you guys taking me around this building. I thought maybe
That was an accident.
I thought there
We
was some
called off
foul
our
play.
plan.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Abort.
3 cars had taken me around a building. I thought there was some foul play.
Yeah, but then you realize the 3 guys you were with.
And then I realized if
Totally
there's going to be any
harmless.
rape, and I'm going to do it, right? Happy birthday, Max. Anyway, speechless. So, yes, and hopefully this fall, this show will be out. And, you all are the wind beneath my wings.
It's got to be some sort of like therapy to try and put that together. I mean, yeah,
It
it's-
is. And from what I understand from the comedians that did it, that I've seen everyone's, Maureen Langen's, Jane Condon's, I saw Vicky Cooperman's, I saw Kendra Cunningham's, on and on and on, Mary Domino. There's tons of them out there. There's Nikki Sunshine, Nancy Lombardo had one. Everybody, it took them to another level. So I got to get to that level at some point, right? So I got to tell the story and then sit in it a little bit and then move on, like take the next step up of comedy because the staircase is so high. Even 16 years, you're only halfway there, right?
Now, I'm nowhere near that level yet, but I was toying with the idea of me having a one-woman show. And it'd be all about me, but I'd have one woman who would just like stand there and look pretty. And,
Absolutely, and that is a one-woman show.
right.
Can that be me?
If we have to.
You know how fetching.
It's got
Thank
A
you.
cups,
You know
never.
how fetching I know, but I.
Doug likes to
One of
dress
my
as
one
women.
of my first dates, I remember I was in New York and I had to dress up as Vanna White for this radio show we were doing, and I didn't have anything to wear.
Thank
so
God it was on radio.
It was a first date. We went in and I'm bra shopping with this woman on a first date. I picked up, it was a B cup. And after I got it, I realized, with my frame, I could easily carry C's. And
You think you can carry C's. I don't even have a cup size. I go to a place on Fifth Avenue and you hear, you hear like literally a forklift coming.
I
put
thought
me
this
into
was
a
they were
bra.
squeezing them
They're like,
to get the
Hector,
size.
do we have the forklift? Is she ready? No, because it's really, so you don't want them. You look very nice
Really,
without
they
them.
shouldn't they measure them by water displacement or something to get an exact measurement for a bra size?
What are you trying to say, Max?
You can call me Doug. It just seems like that would be a more accurate way to measure.
I don't know, but I got in trouble.
How do you detach it from the rest of the body, though?
You just immerse it into a known volume of water and see what it like a big graduated cylinder.
If you want to go to
Now
graduation.
I'm
Hang on,
a
I'm gonna-
display
let me-
and an
I
aquarium.
got a graduated cylinder in the car. Hang on.
Go get it. We'll wait. Yeah, I got in trouble in college during the
Oh no, you didn't try that at college.
the health fair. I set up my own table in the square and offered to do breast exams.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Let me see your hands. I'll tell you if they work.
I got hands.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
But what about those?
No. And I saw your shoe size is a 6.5. I'm not
It's
impressed.
not 6.5.
It's almost a boy's. It's like a little you're,
Stop it! Look at these. Just imagine. Imagine what that shoe could do.
if I need a filling, I'll go to a dentist. That's all I'm saying.
As our president would say, I have no trouble in the shoe department.
Absolutely. I think your lace is afraid, but that's just me.
There you go.
So what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, we were talking about a few
Not about
things.
what we were talking
We were
about at
all
dinner.
right, it's okay.
September 11th.
No, but we were just
It's funny,
talking about the different, our town is Hoboken, right? Tommy's from
yep.
Hoboken, I'm from Hoboken.
Yep.
It's a great town. Frank Sinatra's from our town, right?
Yep.
Jimmy Roselli.
Jimmy Roselli.
Now,
My
did you-
grandfather was friends with him.
who did they like? Did they like Sinatra or Roselli? Because my family was split down the middle.
They liked Roselli.
Yeah. They felt like Frank didn't come back to town,
Yeah.
after he left, but
Well,
he kind of did.
My great grandmother was friends with Dolly, Frank's
Yes.
mother.
Now, she was a midwife, right? They said she
Yeah,
was a
and my
midwife.
great grandmother had like 8 kids, so that's how they were.
Dolly probably delivered them.
Yeah,
Oh, hello, Dolly.
yeah,
and,
exactly.
and the father was a fireman, right?
Okay.
And there's always like some, like, I think they said the original home is on Adam Street where the plaque is. And then,
There's one on Monroe also.
that's the one, right?
Oh,
No,
okay.
what, did I say Monroe or was it
You said Adam.
Adams? No, 4th and Monroe.
Monroe, yeah.
Yep.
Because my grandparents were 6th and Monroe.
Okay, that's right. That's right. And 1 square mile, Hoboken.
Yep.
We could always walk around. And you visited, right?
Do you remember on Washington Street they had Yum Yums?
Absolutely.
I used to love Yum Yums.
I like the vanilla because they
Oh,
don't
that
have
was the
that.
best.
They don't make that flavor
No.
anymore.
What is Yum Yums?
It's like it's
Calm down, Tom, calm
Heaven
down.
on earth is
it's
what
it's a
Yum Yums.
sorbet, but not really. It's kind of like I guess you would consider it gelato these days.
I
right?
guess, yeah.
Where they scoop it out and it was always not in really. It wasn't really always cold, and it was like you could scoopable.
It was like a cross between Italian ice and ice cream.
God, I feel like
Okay.
I want one now. We had the ice guy, right? And we had the rides that came around.
Oh yeah, the
The-
whip.
the whip and the
They'd come around?
yes, they
Yeah,
would come
on
around.
a truck.
10 cents
On a truck, yeah.
on a truck, and we would sit.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was the only other time something would go around except for St. Anne's Day.
Yeah, yes. And then we had Mr. Softy,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Do you know
Now-
go ahead.
I knew both of the guys that owned the Mr. Softy franchises in Hoboken.
You did?
Because my friend's father was the district manager. So I used to get free ice cream my whole life growing up from these
That
Mr.
explains a
Softy
lot.
guys.
My sister owned a candy store. My sister's like 15 years older than me.
Uh-huh.
She owned a candy store on Jackson Street. So I grew up, every night I'd have a bag of candy at the side of my door. I had like, God knows how many cavities when I was 18. But you have to have that stuff when you're a kid. To this day, like when Mr. Softy would come, I would yell, Aunt Jean, Mr. Softy, and she'd throw the quarter down and you'd run to the truck.
Now,
I did that, Mr. Softy. I was in 6th and Park Avenue. 20 years. I was like 39. I'd hear and I go running down my.
I want that as my wedding song.
That's nice. That is nice.
Now, I can tell you, and this was from the 70s, who the guys were from Mr. Softy.
You
A.B.
did?
Corsampora and Ali Aliyah were the 2 guys.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, we had a cute Mr. Softy on 6th and Park, and I was old by then. And I would just look in, and I would just facing his groin. I'm like, oh my God, I want a hard cone.
And you're listening to Hoboken Talk Radio.
No, but I bought a Mr. Softy the other day. I want you guys to guess how much money it was.
How much?
For what, a cone?
A cone, a vanilla Mr. Softy cone.
$3.50.
$3.
Keep going.
Really? $4.25.
$4.
Wow. Is that a large?
$4 with a cone. All right?
And did it taste like you remembered it?
No, because nothing ever does, right? Not the
Yeah.
candy, not the thing. I bought this thing the other day. It was around the corner because we have these nice little stores where I work on McDougal Street, Puerto Rico. It's called Puerto Rico Coffee Company. So it's got all imported coffees. But they had this thing, and it was 60s candy, like all like samples of the 60s
Bonamo
candy.
Turkish taffy?
Yeah.
And they had the thing, it was the flying saucers, and you'd put it in your mouth. We used to make believe it was the host, Body of Christ. We used to play host outside.
I didn't know that in my temple. I don't know what that is.
So blasphemous. I know we had that push-pull thing about Jesus around Easter, I know. But yeah, no, it was so fun, so fun.
Now, back in the day in Hoboken, they used to have little corner stores that would be called bodegas now,
Yep.
but they were just corner stores.
And you would go, like my mother would say, go to Jimmy's on the corner, give me 2 packs of cigarettes, and he would just give it to us.
Oh, yeah.
We would pick up the cigarettes,
Well, Grandma Nina would send me to Frankie's on the corner. Get anything your heart desires. Well,
Yeah.
look at me today.
Yes.
I took her literally.
Yep.
My grandfather had a candy store on the corner in Newburgh, upstate New York. And same thing. Someone would come in, a kid would come in. Mom wants 2 packs of cigarettes.
Right, and they'd put it on their
and a quart
tab.
of milk, and didn't have to pay a penny because
Right.
Mom came on payday and
Uh-huh.
paid for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he made egg creams, and he had a jukebox in the back, a pinball machine, and 2 pool tables for the kids after high school would come back there and play pool.
Wow.
And he served, the only food he served really was the candy in the candy counter, soda, ice cream, and hot dogs. He had boiling all day, and he had made hot dogs for the kids.
We had fun.
Yep.
Where did you grow up, Mr. Doug?
In Summit, New Jersey, where I happen to live now.
And you know, we all said, you know, I said to my mother when I was a teenager, because we had a very tumultuous relationship, and I would say, I can't wait to leave this town. It's going to be like shit on the bottom of my shoes. I'm going to be so far away. I'm 1 mile from where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
1 mile.
that?
So, you know, you say you're going to leave home, but you never really get
After
far.
my mother died, I moved back in with my dad. He wanted to be by himself for a year. I moved back in to be his caretaker. So I'm doing this to get away, get a break.
Wait a minute. Your mom died, he wanted to be alone, and you moved in.
Just like
You
when
never
he-
could
For a
take a hint.
little bit.
just like when he was a
Anyway,
kid.
excuse me, technical. Where did you share this? Where did you get
I'm
the
on
post?
my page.
But where did you share it from originally?
Funny Talk page.
Was it Funny Talk?
Yes.
I haven't found it on Funny Talk.
Doug,
The
yeah.
show's half over already. You realize that?
I know.
I saw you shared it, and I just decided I would look.
Did you win? Did you?
No, I came close to winning $5,000.
No,
You-
he has
you
to
know-
keep scratching. He's got
Oh,
two 5,000.
I thought I was done. I thought
You're
I
not
only
done. You
got
got to
3.
keep scratching.
If I get
You
another
mentioned
5,000,
Jimmy. You
now I have
mentioned
3 5,000.
Jimmy
Jimmy Roselli.
Roselli
Shut up.
before.
Right.
I'm hearing here on
Did I win
my
$5,000?
Facebook that
Did
he,
you win
he was like
5,000?
blocked
I don't
from
know,
the
Tom.
jukeboxes. We're trying to have a show here, you know, and they're doing.
I know.
Did I win $5,000?
Did.
I don't know.
Let me see. I've seen that one.
I thirst.
But then it said pay this amount kind of thing. So
Match 3 amounts, win that amount. You've got $5,000.
Are you serious?
Oh my God!
Why did you give him that ticket? That
yeah,
could have been
Tom,
us.
you idiot!
I
That
know.
could have been you and Sandy going
coulda-
away to the Bahamas.
We could have been in the biggest candy store, you and
You've won $5,000.
Are you serious?
me. You
Wait a
really
minute,
did
my-
win.
My
It's
girlfriend
unbelievable.
Might be listening.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody but me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ixnay.
That's
You know what?
$5, right, Tom?
No, that's
That just says
$5,000.
$5, right, Tom? Right,
It
Tom?
depends.
I'm not wearing underwear.
5,000, no, maybe it says, I don't believe this. Let me
You're
keep
gonna,
scratching.
yeah. Here, let me help you out, Doug. But then it says pay.
I'm going
matches
home with
the
Doug
amount.
tonight.
Don't tell Doug, but this is one of those phony
Oh, are we on the radio? now?
lottery tickets.
Oh, I love it. All right, so
This
what
is
else?
so entertaining.
So Jimmy Roselli, what were you talking
So
about?
Jimmy Roselli apparently pissed off some of the high Goombas back in the neighborhood, and they even took his records out of the jukeboxes for a while back in the 60s or 70s. There.
Wow.
This is someone who lived through it back then.
My grandpa Jimmy used to play cards with Jimmy Roselli. They were in the same club
Get
together.
out. Yeah, because he
Really?
used to sit in those clubs, right?
yeah.
No light on, just a fan going. And you know what? My I forgot. I was going to tell you a Jimmy Roselli story. Jimmy Roselli, my past president at the club where I work, Nick, he passed away. God rest his soul. But his first wife, her name was Catherine, and she was Irish. And they would always go see Jimmy Roselli. And he goes up to him, because he's from Jersey City. He didn't give a shit. He's like, Jimmy, you're always singing Mala Mafia, Mama. What about my wife? She's always hearing Italian songs. She's Irish. And he sang. He called her up front and sang to her, like off the stage or wherever, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. And he would always say how generous he was.
He was
So,
supposed to be a nice guy.
yeah, supposedly. My Aunt Jean had the hots for him, but she wasn't going anywhere. She looked like Jackie Gleason, I told you. Mario didn't want her. She could have went in for the team with him. He would have rubbed her back, brought her bras. It is what it is.
That's
So,
life in Hoboken. Now, what you think
Life-
life was any different in West New York or Jersey City?
well, we know Hoboken's changed, right? Now it's all a bunch of younger kids, and they appreciate it. I mean, after Sandy, they were all upset they couldn't get coffee. They're like, I can't go to Starbucks. I can't go. I'm like, why don't you put a pot on? Put the percolator in. Remember my mother used to show me the percolator? This is if there's an apocalypse, you need coffee.
My mom had a big Farberware percolator
Right.
that sat on the stove
You know
to
what?
get hot. Yeah,
I
it
think
wasn't
that
electric.
tasted better than today's coffee.
It does.
Fresh
It does.
perk.
See, now we're just these old people going around saying things were better.
Yeah.
I used to walk in the snow, 65 miles, no shoes. No, so I left Hoboken at 40, right around 40, 39 years old. I was in that
This
one
was
apartment.
1940.
Yes, 19 in the 40s. I left and I went to Park Ridge, New Jersey, because I said, you know what, I wanted to, my friends all lived in the suburbs. I was dating a guy in the suburbs. I'm like, all right, let me go. And I lived by a duck pond, and my sister would call and she'd say, how is it, Sandra? You don't hear the fire engines. Because by us, we would just hear fire engines,
Right.
and I would hear quack, 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 every morning at the duck pond. I'm like, I love it.
That was
Day
Doug
2,
outside
quack,
the window.
quack, quack, quack. Day 3, quack, quack. Then finally, like, after about a week, I yelled, shut the fuck up. I hated the tranquility. I stayed there 9 years, but I
It's
then
hard to get used to if you grew up in the city.
yeah, no, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. And then I moved to the city. I did move because after 9/11, a lot of people weren't living there anymore. And this was
Right.
2008 till 2012. I lived in this high rise where it was like $22.50 for like 200 square feet. Beautiful on the water, but it's tiny. But the first 4 months rent was free because nobody wanted to live there. So for 3 months, if you rationed out what I was paying, I was probably in the city for $1,500. I didn't need my car. I couldn't afford to keep my car in the city.
Yeah, right.
And I enjoyed what it was like to be a city comic, go do spots at clubs and stuff.
Right.
And that was fine. But then eventually, my rent was $2,500 because it started to boom. And then I said, I got to go back home. And then when I looked at Hoboken, it wasn't even affordable anymore.
Yeah, it got
And I
crazy.
didn't even want to live with these kids. I would have killed them. I would have killed them. So I went 2 towns over, and West New York, little Guatemalan town. It's 1 square mile. It's tiny, and it's
Yeah.
a mile from Hoboken, mile from the Lincoln
Well, it's
Tunnel.
close to where I grew up in Union City.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
you live in West New York now?
I'm in West New York. I'm in a high rise,
Oh, I'm gonna stay friends with you.
and we have the view. You know what the view is, right?
Well, Formula One, if it ever comes.
The view. And you know what? They ask me, do you have a view? Does your apartment have a view? I go, no, if I go downstairs and I turn around. But we have a pool, we have a gym. I'm friends with all my neighbors. We're up each other's ass. It's annoying. But
It looks like you
it's
have a lot of
nice.
parties and
Yeah.
get-togethers on holidays.
Yes,
and all.
I always have a ride to the airport, which I love. I think my mic is out.
But
What-
they're
No, I hear you fine.
gonna convert Formula, they were talking about doing a Formula One track, in West New York,
Wow.
and, which would be absolutely incredible. And I
Can
was
you tell
looking
me
for
what
an
a Formula
apartment
One
there,
track
but
is?
there was
Because
no
I don't know
parking.
what that is.
Formula One is,
It's
the
half of
pinnacle
Formula
of
Two.
motorsports.
What is it?
The pinnacle of motorsports,
Motorsports. Okay.
racing.
All right.
Like a,
He
like,
slapped
like
you
an
5
Indy-
because you did a joke.
It's like
Is that
a
what happened?
faster Indy car.
I go for low-hanging fruit.
Ah, well, I should have sat near you then. But I would love that. I mean, that means there'll be a whole different array of people in my town.
All right, we have to be nice now. My daughter Erica's logged in too.
Hi, Erica.
Hi, Erica.
That's Rocco's mommy.
Oh,
We love our
Hello,
Rocco.
give him a kiss
Rocco.
for me.
Anyway, I know I
Anyway.
breathe a little like Chris Christie. You hear me?
So, Tom, are you proud of the fact that I did not correct the spelling of our website?
Did I get it wrong?
There. Oh, so Tom, I wanna share this $5,000 winning for you.
I gave Doug one of those phony lottery tickets. He thought he won $5,000.
And I'm falling for it like the fool that I am.
It says right on the back. The odds
Winning
of winning is
tickets of
0 in
$100 or
100.
more must be sent by mail or in person to the Money Ferry, 123 Nowhere Drive in Make Believe Land.
Now, I hope Uncle Sal's not watching tonight or listening because
Valid
he's getting
only
one
in your
tomorrow.
dreams. Any resemblance to a real or implied lottery ticket is what makes this fun.
Are you having
Odds of
fun yet,
winning,
Doug?
0 in 10,000. Thank you, Tom.
You're
That
welcome.
was very special. I'll keep
That and a
this.
rock.
And a rock.
And the honey, and the
Don't
container
forget
of
the
honey.
honey.
All
Yes-
right, so
yes, dear.
I'm gonna ask a question now to keep
Okay.
this party started because I'm very impressed
Yeah.
with this operation
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're
All
pretty
right.
slick.
Now, if you had to go now, because it's hard, favorite male, female comic today, and you could go into the Kevin Hart people, because I know if you say our realm, people get offended. So let's
Right.
go with the people that
Out of the super comics.
out of the super, because because I
Dead or alive, or just
it
alive?
doesn't matter dead or alive, but because I'll tell you something right now. I love every single woman and man comic that's out there with me, so I could never pick. I really couldn't. So go ahead, Jack.
You can say me, it's okay.
If you want to go with the ones that have died, I'll go with one of my top three, and it's Carlin.
George Carlin.
You
Yes.
got, if you anything to do with George Carlin, Richard Pryor, definitely those two. You can't go wrong. Robin Williams.
Well, his daughter Kelly Carlin, who's just a
She had a
wonderful
one-man
comic.
show too, one-person show too.
Wonderful comic in her own right. Okay, very great reputation, very spiritual, and the keeper of his castle, I guess. She wrote that book, a Carlin Home Companion, and I just downloaded it on Audible. But now I feel like I have to read it instead because they won't give it any justice. And so I'm looking forward to that book. Richard Pryor, I saw his daughter Rain Pryor had fried chicken and latkes
Right.
because she had a Jewish mother, and Richard Pryor again was her dad,
That's her one-woman show.
right? And now Richard Pryor Jr. has a book out.
Has a book out now.
He has a book out. So, and Kitty Bruce in her own right, Lenny Bruce's daughter, she's an author. She's got books out. So Carlin, he's up there at the National. What's
That's
that?
where this shirt is from.
You went, right?
I was there last August when it opened.
I
You
need
did.
to
You
get
went to
up
grand
there.
opening. Was it
I was there
wonderful?
a week later. I couldn't get in on grand opening.
But did you
I'm
see?
not a comedian.
Did you see Carlin's room? He's got a room all by
I
himself.
certainly did. Yep.
Yeah.
It's worth the trip up in Jamestown. That's where Lucy is from, and that's
Right.
why they built it up there. But it's like 2 blocks long, and it's all hands-on. It's multimedia. You walk into a room and it says "Welcome, Jack," because you've signed in at the front.
Wow.
And then you'd say, "What are your favorite comics?" And it says, "All right, go over here for Abbott and Costello. Go over here for Laurel and Hardy." And it's all customized. It is worth the trip from anywhere. It
And
really
that's
is.
Barry Doherty had something to do with that from the
He was
Friars.
involved. Yep.
Okay, so
And-
we found out one favorite comic.
And we went out and
Wait, I had
also
3.
go ahead. And women, what's your women one? Woman one.
There's so many. It's hard for me. I don't
Name
know.
a woman, Jack. Just pick one.
Let's go classic then. Toady Fields. Come on.
Okay.
Joan Rivers. There you go.
Okay.
You got a hint.
All
for
right,
it.
Tommy, you're up at that.
Well, they're not stand-ups, but Abbott and Costello were always my favorite. And,
Classic.
all
See,
that
the
era.
question was favorite
stand-up.
Yeah, yeah,
Comedic
yeah.
actors.
Comedic actors. You're right. Stand-up, I always liked Rodney Dangerfield.
You told me you liked London Lee the best.
I like London Broil.
You don't even remember London Lee.
No.
Okay. Anyway, London Lee from the 60s. Go ahead.
Anyway, growing up, it was Rodney Dangerfield, Henny Youngman.
Absolutely.
Talk about corny. That's where my corny jokes
Sure.
come from. And he's still around and he's still performing. Gilbert Gottfried.
Yep.
Oh, that reminds me. June 29th. Chip Ambrosio and I are producing a fundraiser with Gilbert Gottfried as the star for the Teaneck Black Box Theater. Go ahead.
Okay.
Anyway, there
I
you go.
can't get enough of Gilbert. He's got a sing-along
Yeah.
coming up in the city, and I'm just going to go and sing with Gilbert
I
because
used
I
to
can't.
I used to go see
love
him at the Improv in the early '80s when he was first starting out. I would laugh out loud for days afterwards. I'd be in class and all of a sudden I'd start cracking up, like crying,
He's fabulous.
and people would look at me like they sent me to psychological services 3
No.
times.
Where you belong.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. No, women, any women? Because, I have to be this advocate for women.
I used to like what's her name?
Oh yeah, she was
Yeah.
amazing.
Ellen when she started out.
Okay.
Ellen
I mean, now
DeGeneres.
she's a fluffy, she's fluffy because
She's-
of the
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
she's got something on Netflix. I mean, her stand-up's still solid, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also used to like Rosie O'Donnell when she started out.
I think something happens to comics. Sometimes they get a little bitter as they get older. But I saw her, like, she had lost a lot of weight, and she was with one of her wives, and she went back to the old Rosie, like the Rosie that was at Pips,
Yeah.
years ago, and I enjoyed it. But when she gets political, and it's not because I'm either I just feel like I like to escape any kind of politics, so
Right.
I like the funny.
Right.
So they're all very political right now. So that takes a lot.
Well, that's always been my bent with comedy, is using it as an escape and not having to deal with
Right.
real things.
Yep. Absolutely.
But
I
you know,
mean-
I remember Al Martin, the owner of Broadway in Greenwich, once received a letter of complaint from one of the customers that they were from Iowa and they came to see a New York City comedy show, and he complained that not one comic talked about any of the current events going on. And you know, there was a valid concern. You go to the number one city for comedy, stuff's going on in this country. Where do you expect to hear the truth from if not from comics nowadays? You can't hear it from the news or the fake news because nobody knows what's what anymore.
Yeah.
You hear it
And
from the
yet-
satirists.
Comics are probably taking a lot of crap because
You lose.
as soon as you do one side or the other,
Right.
you're going to upset
But
half
you know
the audience.
something?
The problem with the audience is when you walk in the door, if you have a preconception of what you expect, you're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like because sometimes be like, well, you know, I hope nobody talks about abortion because not that I would ever have an abortion joke or whatever, but sometimes people go in and they get so angry.
Doug's
if
mother had
it's-
an abortion joke.
if there's not, if it's not what they expect. So that night, they probably all expected to hear somebody that talk about something current going
Whatever,
on.
but you know that
But
that
God
was
bless
there.
Al for
that was-
standing by
but
his
you know
comics.
something, you were talking, you offend somebody. If you go political, you're going to offend 25 to 50% of the
Yeah.
audience, depending on where you're at. But you know, I was working on a joke with some disease. I won't mention it. Doesn't matter. And somebody's like, "Oh, people are so sensitive. If somebody has somebody
And
with
they all
that
clap.
disease, you know,
It's like the clap.
like that." So my favorite male is Andy Kaufman. Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah.
asking. And I've
No.
got to pick Lucy.
But you
But
see,
she never
she's
did
a
stand-up.
sketch.
She was an actress, comedic actress.
She was
We're talking
brilliant.
stand-up.
Okay, then Gracie Allen.
Okay.
She stood up.
She stood up to George.
Yeah, she stood up very well.
All right.
She kept George very wealthy for about
What
70
about you?
years.
Oh, and
Keep going.
what's her name with the other guy? Very smart in the 70s. Elaine
May and Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nichols and May. Now you're going back.
Very
I'm an
good.
old person. It's my birthday today. I'm very old.
How old are you? Do you mind telling us, sharing that?
32.
I weigh 150 pounds.
Wow, my
I
birth
don't. I weigh
weight.
160. How old am I?
I am 150
Yes.
also, but then I
Whoever
put the other
wins,
leg on the scale.
Whoever gets closest, I'll give $1 to.
I'm going to say that you are 60 years of age.
54.
64?
54.
54, good guess. Do you know?
I know, so I'm not going to guess.
Guess.
Tell us then.
63.
I'm 63.
Wow.
Wow, he's almost my age.
You look 60.
Thank you.
Isn't that wonderful?
But he thinks
He
You don't
smells
look
70.
54.
That's more
He's
wonderful.
blowing smoke up
He's
here.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. So can I say who my
Yes,
favorites? Because
I'm
I'm the
waiting.
guest of the show.
Well, you asked a question. I don't know if you
Okay.
were asking
Carrot
it
Top.
like it's
No.
your show.
Carrot
I'm
Top.
kidding.
Who are your favorites?
I'm kidding. Listen, they love him out in California, and Gallagher too. I give them a lot of credit out there. They
Well,
stand by
vegans
their...
like Carrot Top.
Listen, my favorite. I'm going Dead and Then Alive. Dead. I'm a Johnny Carson person, and he was stand up. He did everything right. So I believed in his thing. Make everybody laugh. You could do the take. Learn your audience, all that stuff. And he came from a happy childhood, unlike most comics. We all
And a
have some
magician.
drastic.
He was a magician
He was a
at the start.
magician,
Yeah.
and he did. Remember, he did sketch, and they asked him one time. They said, "Well, what do you consider yourself?" He's like, "Don't put me in a box. Don't box me in. I'm everything." And that's why I loved him. And he was wonderful with 300 people, terrible with 2. Had
Yeah.
severe anxiety.
Yep.
So I liked him. I liked Joan Rivers. I liked her tenacity, and I liked what she stood for. And as I got older, I grew to appreciate her. I didn't like her until I became a comedian. I thought she was vulgar, and then I became a comedian. I'm like, she's a pussycat, And alive now, I mean, I have to tell you, I'm a big fan of a lot of people, but I'm loving Wanda Sykes lately.
Yeah, she's good.
I'm loving Wanda.
I think she did a great job on that live show last
Yep.
week, too.
Yep, I'm loving Wanda. And I still, like Ellen, you know, and I think she's got some stuff to offer. But I like, you know, if I see the old female comics out there, I always appreciate them. Male comics, I'm a Kevin Hart fan, but I'm still loving Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, I like Sebastian.
Like, I'm still loving him. And Brian Regan, who, like, most comedians go and sit in the front row when he's performing. So, you know, and you know, Gaffigan's come a long way. I know Louis had his fall from grace. You know, and Bill Burr. What about Bill Burr? My
Yeah,
God.
yep.
So yeah, there's so much out there. So much out there. I used to walk past the Comedy Cellar because it's like a few doors from where I work, which is why I took my job. Okay. And outside I would see Greg Giraldo, Patrice. I'd see Mike DeStefano. I would see all these guys, like Louis C.K. would be out there. Ben Bailey, who's now doing, you know, he did that show, right?
Cash Cab.
Yeah,
right?
and Mike Birbiglia, okay? You know, these guys that they started out, Robert Kelly, you know, and I didn't, and they knew me just to go like this, like, hello, because I was the same face passing at the same hour. But man, I mean, I miss those guys. I miss their smiles. There's a lot of them, like Mike is gone and Greg, but they would just, sometimes I just go in to watch them, you know? Really, really good. That street, McDougal Street,
Yeah.
it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine for comedy.
I always thought Greg was underrated, like not
Absolutely.
appreciated in his lifetime.
Yep. And I think he thought that too, you know, but he would be one day he was judging, right, Last Comic Standing, and the next day he was in Livingston, New Jersey. So that's the life of a comic, though, you know?
Yep.
You know, you're opening up for Sinatra one day, and the next day you're in the back of a Chinese restaurant. Like, that's just the way it goes.
Yep.
But you gotta have some kind of tolerance to take that. You really have to, especially if all your friends are, you know, like back in the day. I guess the one comic that he made a few $1 million was Richard Jenny,
Oh yeah.
right? He was always on everybody's talk
Platypus
show,
Man.
right? Best comic stand up, but didn't make it over that
Yep.
like hurdle that they had, but made good money and traveled. So
He ended his life too.
yep, he
right?
did, because everybody, you know, we're all pretty wounded.
Richard Jenna,
Richard Jenny
Jenny.
Yep.
he
killed
ended his life.
himself. Yeah.
That was sad because they mourned him, like Jay Leno and them. They mourned it.
Oh yeah.
They loved that guy, you know? And you know what's so funny? If you ask comedians, like the famous, you know, the other people out there that doing talk shows, some
David
of them,
Brenner. There's another one that's gone.
Fabulous.
God, what a class.
and when I met him, he was so kind and giving and talked about his craft. And he was the original
I was going to say he was
Observational.
groundbreaking in his style at the time.
observational. Like
Right.
he had the joke about where he's sitting on the paper. And then someone said, "Are you finished reading that?" And he said, "No." And he turns the paper and sits back down on it.
Classic.
You know, and I think Seinfeld and them kind of picked up from him. And I don't ever recall them ever thanking him, because he really was the guy
Yeah.
that kind of observed.
What is it with submarine buns?
What?
Tell me what you're
I
talking
don't know.
about. We missed that.
I don't know. I missed it too.
Ever since he won the 5,000, he's been like a little off into space.
Yeah, I'm
Now
gonna
a
have
word from
another
our
life
sponsor.
plan.
He's into carb
I have
jokes
a totally
all
different
of a
life
sudden.
planned out now. I can get the BMW I want. And
Oh, because you won 5,000. Actually, I
You
was
can't
in.
get much of a BMW for 5,000.
I was in
but
Atlantic.
that's okay.
I was in
I can
Atlantic.
get my car for 5,000.
Yeah. How many miles on your car right now?
375,491.
That is a classic.
Wow.
And it's only what, 8 months old?
And I do a lot of the work myself on it,
You
which is
do?
shocking because I'm Jewish. That's supposed to be.
Wow.
I don't know why every time I've said anything in a comedy set where I mention that I replaced an alternator and I shouldn't be able to do that because I'm Jewish, everybody laughs. So is there a
It's not the Jewish
stereotype
forte
that
to be a
Jews don't
mechanic.
work
I
on-
just don't
don't-
have.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of.
Yeah, but
so here's the way to
he
look
is
at
getting
it
the
too.
work done wholesale, that you got to admit.
Yeah, well,
If I can buy a tool for $15 and save $100 of a mechanic's labor,
That's good.
There you
and
go.
it's being a good Jew. I've saved $90 or whatever, 85.
If you were a good Jew, you'd be going to temple on Friday and Saturday.
now I'm Italian. I grew up Italian, both sides. I had an Uncle Morty growing
What do you mean
up.
both sides? Your left and your right?
You did?
Yeah, I had an Uncle Morty. Didn't occur to me until somebody in high school asked me, "How could you have an Uncle Morty if you're Italian?" Everybody in your And I didn't stop to think about it, but he wasn't my uncle. We just called him uncle. And he was,
Ah, so you're not Jewish.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, so mommy had a boyfriend, you're saying?
well, yeah.
My shop, the car shop I go to, many of them are Latino. Be careful, not Hispanic. They're Latino, and so I heard them talking in Spanish, and at one point, one of my friends is talking to another, and he introduces me, and I could have sworn he introduced me as Morty Cohen.
Nice.
But you understand Spanish as maricón
Yes.
means
Mm-hmm.
gay?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Speaking
I
of
heard
tornadoes,
Morty Cohen.
Tornado.
Paul Veneer is listening in on the show.
The
so
tornado.
And what did he
checking
say
in.
about
Get
the tornado?
in a bathtub.
He's
Paul.
asking Tom to explain that statement further, and then he said, we're doing a great job here.
Oh, thanks, Paul.
He's fabulous.
So he's
I love
He's
Paul.
definitely the
I
comedy
love
tornado.
him.
He
Yep.
is.
I love you, Paul Veneer. If you're
Is he the comedy
watching, I'm a
tornado?
big fan.
There's a comedy steamroller, right? We've got
Steamroller,
the
Rich
lowland
Carucci.
gorilla of comedy.
Okay.
There's another
Right?
one. Who's it?
And,
Are you
and,
something? Are you
And
something
we have the
of
girl of my
something?
dreams, Tom.
I'm not. I'm the brassy sassy.
Brassy
gas.
Gassy and.
What's his name from South Jersey? Grill.
Oh, gentlemen! So if you're interested in Sandy,
Grill. Yeah.
send
The
your
girl of my dreams.
applications
Oh, okay.
to funnytalkmm@gmail.com. We'll review the applications for grammar and spelling
Absolutely.
and
And
pass on.
if you have a size 6.5 shoe, please don't even bother. All right? I'm doing 7 and up. But now, Tommy, you were just saying that you went to
7
Atlantic
up.
City.
I went to Atlantic City this weekend, and I was at the Borgata, and they had this promotion where every 15 minutes they'd pick somebody's name who's on the machines, and somebody would win $5,000 every 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yep.
And did
I
you-
wasn't one of them.
Oh.
Or two
But
of
the
them.
same
for that
person won every 15 minutes?
matter. No, a different person every.
Oh.
But here's the caveat: they would post the person's name.
Caveat.
Yes.
Did they have that at the buffet?
The password is caveat. No, they would announce the person's name in a very, very loud casino, which you couldn't hear. Then they would post the names, and you'd have 30 minutes to get to the booth to claim your prize. So I'm sure half the people who won never got the
never
money.
hear it, yeah.
Yeah.
If you won $10 million in the lottery, would you keep on doing comedy?
Oh
Or
yeah.
would you
I
go to the Bahamas and
I do just comedy.
If I had 10 million,
Yes, absolutely.
I would open a club in a minute. In a minute.
I would.
You should take your time though. It's a big undertaking.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Even an egg takes 3, Jack.
All right. You had your own genie in a bottle. You rub the lamp. Genie comes out. You can have any comedy wish. If you could do anything in comedy or achieve any level in comedy, what would it be for you?
You know, that's a hard question because
funny talk with Mongelli and Mag.
that would be it. Be caught in the hurricane,
In the back
the
parking lot.
whirlwind, like on the house in the Wizard of Oz. Auntie Em. No, I. You know what? The thing about comedy is that it is a dream come true because you are making a difference. Like somebody seeing you and you have a chance to change their day or make it shitty, which I love too. So you could do that, right? And just with your words. So that's always good. So if I won money, I would always still be a comedian. I just think a lot more people would book me because I'd have some money and
they wouldn't
you
have
know,
to pay
I could, and yeah, they wouldn't. I
You'd
guess
say,
I wouldn't
"Hey,
take.
I don't need your 10,000.
I'd pay to
bucks, it's
perform.
okay."
Yeah, not even like a hooker, right? A hooker gets paid to perform. I would pay to perform. But no,
You don't have to ever do that.
But no, I would love it. I'd go up to Brad Garrett. I'm like, Brad, listen, I need to be in this in your show.
I saw him in AC.
You did?
Yeah, resorts. He kept calling this friggin' place with this rat hole. He was calling.
Well, you know, his gig was he opened for Sinatra.
I know.
He was the opening comic, and when Frank sometimes Frank would have anxiety, and he'd have to stay up there for like 50 minutes, and then sometimes Frank would want to go, and he just unplugged the microphone, and Brad would be right in the middle of a joke. Oh, wow. Yeah, isn't that like he told that story like many
Frank
times?
would just say,
Imagine.
"I'm ready to go." Get
He
on.
wouldn't say. He just would unplug the mic and move. It was Sinatra.
Yeah,
What were you
really.
gonna do?
Exactly.
Well,
So-
Sinatra wasn't always Sinatra, right? There was a time he was Tom Mongelli.
Well, there was a time he wasn't, and that's when he asked my grandfather to sing at his wedding, and my grandfather not only turned him down, but threw him down the stairs.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wait, Frank wanted your grandfather to
Grandpa
sing at
Jimmy-
Frank's wedding?
No, he
Your
wanted
grandfather
to
wanted
sing.
Frank to sing at the wedding.
Shut the hell up.
Let me tell your story.
Now I know why you got this rock.
Yeah. Only
He
I
got the rock because I gave him
I
the
have
rock.
witnesses now, though. That's the problem.
And I think Sandy's family, didn't your grandmother,
Change old Blue Eyes diapers.
right? Isn't that a fact?
Yep, she did. She did. But they all said they did. So,
Yeah,
like,
I
I don't
know,
know.
I-
Like, they all knew Dolly.
Everybody from Hoboken had a Sinatra
I'm sure
story.
at some point she's pulling him off. She's going to look, I got to deliver a baby. Could you watch my Frankie?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, but she was a really big wig around town,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And I only read recently, I didn't know she died in a plane crash. I didn't know that's how she died.
Really?
Going out to see him.
Actually, I
So
knew
that
that,
must
and I
have broke his
forgot
heart.
that. Yeah.
That must have broke. He was an only
When you
child.
guys were growing up in Hoboken, was Cake Boss in business there?
It was
his-
Carlos.
It was his father.
And his father was Carlos?
Yes.
Well,
Carlos.
he bought it from
No, his father.
Buddy Velastro.
Yeah, but
Right.
Buddy was the son. Carlos was the dad.
Oh, Carlo. I thought the
Carlo.
father was Buddy also.
Who was Carlos?
I think he bought it from the original owner, who was Carlos.
To our Romanian listeners, they're talking about Hoboken again.
My uncle that I told you about was in the same gang or group. They called them gangs back then.
They were gangs, baby.
The Pharaohs. They belonged to the same clique.
Those effing pharaohs. I know them.
Uh-huh.
No, but
I think it's spelled with a P.
Carlos,
Laugh.
though, Carlos, which is Cake Boss, if you watch the show, 40 years, right?
Right, yeah.
And I watch it and I get so pissed off because I'm looking, I made out in high school, like before he got married.
With Buddy?
I kissed Buddy, and even Frankie, you know Frankie with the eye?
Yeah.
Got to second base. I don't even get a cannoli. Nothing from these guys.
Sounds like you got the cannoli.
I got right in the family, okay? And what was it? It was a mini cannoli.
Oh, what are you going to
No, but you know what? Now the strufelis are like this. I can't even say because I'm not. I say calamari. My mother was like, it's calamari. It's not. But the strufelis, they're Los Fiadels. They're like this big now.
Uh-huh.
He gets like $7 for
All
them.
I know is every cake for every birthday growing up was from Carlos, and it was those big sheet cakes with the slivered almonds around the sides.
Yep.
Now, when you're older, that's great. Everybody loves it.
What
But as a
kid wants
kid,
a slivered
exactly, as a kid, who the hell?
Nuts.
You're spitting out these
Sugar.
olives around the house like they were watermelon seeds. They were, and then it was a rum cake.
Yep.
What 6-year-old wants a rum cake?
No.
Wait, did I hear you say they put olives on your birthday cake?
Almond.
Almonds.
He
Turn
did
it up.
say olives.
But I thought since
Did
you're
I?
Italian, it could be, you could, yeah, anyway. Listen, our time sort of officially is up, so we should get into our promoting whatever we're doing.
Okay. What's your name? Jack.
Yeah.
do you
If
got
anyone needs a comedy show, I work with the best comics in the world, over 200 of them. The two of them looked at you, though. See, there you go. But call J. Irwin Productions, jirwinproductions.com, or just look for Jack Hoffman on Facebook or social media.
Very good. I'm in so many shows. I'm not even going to start to name them. Go to my website, www.comictommongelli.com. You'll see all my upcoming shows. I just got 2 more today I have to put up, so
I don't
be
even know
patient.
why I bring this up. Promote shows, you promote your shows, and I just cry. But I sucked some people into booking me, so I do.
See?
I'm going to be at Make Wine With Us on June 1 with John Fugelsang, who I'm looking forward to seeing.
He has a
And,
great radio show on Sirius every day. He does.
Well, I'll try to entertain him, so he'll want me on. And then
Rhonda
I'll invite
Handsome
Tom.
is on his show every Monday.
Who is?
Rhonda Handsome,
Okay.
great
I've
comedian.
run into her.
Yep.
I've
Yep.
seen her. And I've got other shows coming up. I don't
Great.
even know. I'm all over the place. But I had another good show coming up. June 20th, we're going to be at Levity Live together.
Yes, we are.
Oh, nice. That's a great
Wow.
club.
That's
That's
in
up my
East
neighborhood.
Nyack, New York.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me know. I'll come
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now,
yeah.
as for me,
And what do you got going on?
here's what I got going on. Besides being in a hurricane or a tornado tonight on the way home. Thank you, Tommy Mongelli. I'm in this web series called Surprisingly Complicated. It's about it's a true story about parents of twin autistic boys. In the series, it's only one kid, and I play the mother, and I'm in episode 3. So if you are on YouTube or on Amazon, it's surprisingly complicated. And we're looking forward to episode 4. So I have a recurring part over there. And I'm doing some shows with women of a certain age comedy, funny women of a certain age comedy. Carol Montgomery,
Wonderful.
who is like my mentor, my sister. She's going to be on like cruise, like with Fran Drescher. She's on her and Carrie Louise and stuff. And Fran Drescher's doing this Cancer Schmancer cruise. And so Carol's opened up a lot of doors for me for my age bracket and for like spotlighting a lot of women my age of a certain age comedy. And that's special if you're ever on Showtime. It's funny
It was
women of a
great on
certain age.
Showtime.
It's
Lunella.
wonderful, Vanessa Hollingshead and all those guys. And then my comedy shows, I'm the queen of the Elks Club and the VFWs, right?
And fire departments.
And the fire, I have the Duck Dynasty audience, the kind with the long beards and the tattoos on the head, hairy chest. That's just the
And that's
wives.
just the women.
That's the wives.
But
Anyway, but yeah, a lot of stuff. And Brassy, Sassy, Gassy, the BSG, it's coming soon. And that's it.
Sandy Ehlers, Ehlers. Find her on Facebook, our Romanian friends.
Thank you.
Wherever-
Shout out to Romania.
Wherever Sandy's appearing, it's worth the trip. You'll laugh your ass off. You really will.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
You asked me that question. You are one of my favorite female comics.
Thank you. Thank you very
really are.
much.
Oh,
And
you're one of my favorite funny female comedians, too.
thank you. No, and I'm going to say something I
You
don't get
fun
to
for
say
it.
much, and it makes me feel good because I feel like I'm on a date. I'm going to say, hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me. It's lovely to be had.
It was good having you, too.
Let's go around that building, boys.
Yeah.
If it's still there, I don't know if anything tornadoes went by.
All right.
You never
So
know.
on that note, before we leave to escort Sandy through a dark alley
Now, as you
to
know,
get to her car perfectly
Wink, wink.
safely,
Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max appears the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and our next guest will be Evan Weiss.
I believe so.
Evan Weiss.
Evan Weiss.
Evan Weiss.
The comedian, comedy producer,
He's an entrepreneur.
impresario, all-around nice
Yes.
guy.
And thank you all from Tornado Central.
Yeah.
And Tom, thank you for the lovely gifts. and
Happy
the honey.
birthday, Doug.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night.
I can't wait to have the honey on the rock.
See you next time. Peace out.
Honey on the rock. Honey on the rocks.
I really thought he won
It's a
the
nice
lottery.
rock.
You really
Clearly Igneous, right?
They don't make rocks like they
You
used
should
to.
have wished me a belated happy birthday because I think you thought I was born yesterday. All right, signing out. Can I hit you
So,
with this rock
Jack,
now?
I think you shared this originally from Tom's page, because when I looked at Funny Talk halfway through, I couldn't find it.
I really
So
thought
it
you
went
won.
to Tom, not Funny Talk again.
You know what? It popped up on my face. It looks like it's still on, though.
I was going to be with you tonight because I thought you had 5.
Here, we're still
And
on.
I was thinking, can I, I don't want
Still
to,
on.
I don't want her to feel cheap.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
what am I going?
5 minutes ago.
Like, she knows I won 5,000. So